Hey, what's up, guys? Threat Level Midnight here, and today I have what I would call part two of the M1A series that I've been doing. For those of you that have been sticking with me for the first video on the M1A, then you'll know what I've done to make this thing kind of shoot the way that I want it. But if you haven't seen it, I encourage you to go check it out. I'll try to put a link in the in this video. But I'll recap for you, and pretty much what I did was I had a big, huge problem with my M1A, and it wouldn't shoot tight groups. It was shooting like 3-4 inch groups. I put it in the Sage EBR chassis, didn't help, and then I just basically went to the fiberglass GI stock. I JB welded it, I bedded it with JB weld, and then I put a little shim system in the gas tube, and it seemed to tighten it up quite a bit. Through load development, I realized that this gun wasn't picky at all about the load that I fed it. It shot everything pretty well with iron sights. So at the conclusion of the last video, I said, hey, I'll put some glass on this gun and see how it shoots with glass on it. So that's what today's going to be a review of. But to go over a problem that I encountered is when you throw a scope on an M1A, chances are your mount's going to be pretty high. So with the Springfield the Gen 4 M1A mount, even with low rings, this mount is still super high. So you can see, you know, if I put my cheek right on the bare stock here, my eye is almost looking just at the back of the receiver, and I almost need a cheek rest, like a cheek riser, just to use the iron sights, which is fine. I can still use the iron sights without it, but it was still fairly high. So I tried a number of things, and you can see right now I have a Matthews Fabrication. It's an adjustable cheek rest on here, and this was the perfect fit for me. This did everything that I wanted to do. But when I did my range review with the scope, I ended up not having this. This wasn't in yet, so I ended up taking like some like a sleeping mat that you'd use like a bedroll for camping, and cutting some slivers of it, stacking it on the stock, and then using a just kind of a wraparound cheek pad that's Velcro, just to kind of keep it all together. And you can see when I show you the range review videos, you're going to see that it just didn't hold up. It kept sliding over even if I taped it. I've used the bedroll material before, but I've actually tacked it onto the stock, and that works just fine. But if you're just stacking it up, it was just way too high, because I needed about 2 inches of rise to get my eye in line with the center of the glass here. So I also ordered one off of Amazon. This one is from Torbon, but again, it's only, you know, maybe 1.25 inches of rise, and it still didn't put my cheek at the right height. And then even still, because it's so tall, it just kind of wanted to roll on the stock anyways. So like I say, when you see me shoot this thing, you'll hear me complain about it, that my cheek rest was falling apart, but now that I have the Matthews one on there, it's no longer going to be a problem. So let's go ahead and just get into some shooting. Okay. Start off with this 155. I still haven't even tested the that 168 load yet. Where are you going? Upper. Upper left. Yeah, I'll spot you with the bigger boy. I'll spot it with the bigger boy. Come here, girl. Homemade cheek rest is breaking down on me here. Is it? Yeah. Need to get a better one. Same hole.
It's right. It's just gotta bring it over just a hair.
So those last three are all through the same hole, and that was what I wanted to do, is just get my rough zero with this thing. And now I'll move on to the 168s. But that's not bad, right?
No.
Looking at right around an inch.
Yeah, no, you're looking pretty solid there.
Yeah, and I think I pulled the yeah, the bullseye's on the steel. It's on the big, it's a 2x2 plate. All right. Okay, I'll go, let's see. All right, next target down.
Oof, that went 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Oof. Far over. 9 o'clock again. Same.
That 9 o'clock position?
Yeah, just close to the red, but yeah, in that 9 o'clock.
Okay, well, it's a different load, so
Yeah.
I'll adjust and shoot another string.
I'm getting this Mirage.
Yeah, Mirage is pretty heavy right now.
Yeah.
All right, next one, top, second one in from the left.
Top for 1 o'clock.
No, I shanked that one.
Okay, well, good. We can on it. Right there, 9 o'clock on the edge of the red. 5.
Okay. I'm gonna shoot one more string of these, see if I can't get myself more comfy, and then we'll move on. What's up? All right, next target down. getting hard mirage right now.
Yeah, that's why I got it. Nope, I didn't see it.
6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. Okay, so I shot a handful of strings today. This was the first group. That was with that 155 Hornady match that I loaded up. And there's actually 4 bullets in the same hole right here. So this one shot really tight with this guy on the outlier. And when I shot these lower targets, the mirage from the ground was picking up so bad that it looked like the target was vibrating. So I have a nice little cluster of 3 right here, and I strung these 2 out. So for the next group, I shifted over, ended up pulling this shot, and I called it, and then hit 1, 2, 3, and then 4 right here. So I'd say it shoots pretty tight for what it is for being an M1A. I'm pretty impressed with the groups.
What are you going for?
The 350. There, whoops.
Where are we going?
5 minutes. It's so the little
Yeah, I'm already on 5, yeah.
no.
No?
It's windy. We're just getting pushed off the edge.
Off to the right, it looks like.
Okay. We're just playing a little bit of wind game here.
There might be a slight breeze out there. Which way is it blowing?
It's blowing from right to left.
Okay, that's why I'm holding right also. I have to hold to the right.
Now pick back up to 2 minutes. There we go. That's on the little silhouette too.
585?
Now the far one. Wind games.
No.
I'm gonna shoot at the blue one. No wind at all right now.
No.
Really? I think it shifted, man.
There it is.
Yeah, it shifted because I held left edge on that one. It pushed it right. 5 no problem?
Huh?
585 was no problem? If you're hunting a deep, you're never going to take a shot at 5.
No, but see, these are lighter rounds too than what we were looking at. That's why we specifically loaded some rounds last night for this gun, but almost just low, I think. Impact. Impact.
That was that last 3 right there. Those were good. All right, so here's our 750 target. You can see that most of the shots are actually fairly centered on the plate. Kind of came down to a wind game at the end of the day, where shifting breezes over here, where it would push, about a foot off the left edge, and then it die down to nothing. Just kind of commonplace for shooting at range out here. Usually I'll bring a flag, but today I didn't.
Okay, so as you can see, the gun shot real tight, just like it did with iron sights. I thought it performed as well as I could have possibly wanted it. I went ahead and calipered some of these groups that I shot on the 0, and like I say, there's a reason that I shoot 5-round groups, because I'm not perfect every shot, right? I'm not claiming to be the best shooter on the planet, and I'm not claiming that this gun is the best gun on the planet. So I shoot my 5-round strings, and if I pull 1 or 2 out of it, I still have a nice mean group that I can measure. So let's have a look at the targets here and see how we did. And so I zeroed the gun. My initial zero was with the 155, which is a load that I kind of moved away from, and I started using the 168 Sierra Match King just because I bought a bunch of it and I wanted to try it out. But this initial group with 155 was phenomenal. So I have a shot that's pulled up here, but then you have 1, 2, 3 pretty much through the same hole, and then a 4th one off right here. So you have 4 shots that are well under an inch, and then 1 that's out right here. And to me, I mean, holy cow, that's great. That'd be good for a bolt gun. I would think that's great for a bolt gun. I'd have no problem pushing a gun like that out to 1,000 yards. And then the second group, the first string that I shot with the 168s, was probably the worst string of the day. But at its extreme, center to center, it was only 1.5 inches. So even at its worst, this group was still 1.5 inches. And you know, you heard me say it when we were out there, or maybe you didn't catch it, but the Mirage, when I was shooting out there, just shooting the 100-yard strings, was horrible. I mean, it looked like the target was vibrating, and I think you can kind of see that in the downrange footage when we were shooting those strings. And then third group with the 168s, like I said, I just want to shoot a handful of groups and see how it did. We had 3 well under an inch, and then 2 that I pulled off to the side here. And again, if I'm shooting a tight group here and I start stringing them out, that's usually a me problem. It's not like the gun can't hold a tight group. And I think by now we've established that yes, this gun can shoot a tight group, and it can do it with a number of loads. It's not as sensitive as I maybe once thought it was, and it shoots hunting projectiles and match rounds just fine. And then the final group here, I pulled 1 out here, but then you have the last 4 shots, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, these last 3 are well under an inch, and this puts this group right at about 1 inch. And I'll show you guys some still images with the calipers on, just so you can see how they performed and how tight this gun actually shoots. And I don't know what your expectations of your M1 is, but maybe this kind of puts it in perspective, is that this thing can shoot really tight. Maybe you're not going to shoot, you know, 1/2 inch groups every single string with it, but it can shoot 1 inch consistently. And of those groups, there was only 1 that was outside of 1 inch, and that was that second string right when I switched over to the 168s. So I'll say this, the glass I was using for this is the Vortex Diamondback Tactical. It's the first focal plane. It has a really fine reticle and the EBR-7C reticle in it, and I thought it performed great. As far as being like on the lower end of Vortex's offerings, I think it does everything that I wanted it to do. It doesn't have an illuminated reticle, which some of you, that's important to you. Some of you don't care at all. If I'm hunting, I like to have an illuminated reticle. If I'm just out shooting steel, I don't really care. It also doesn't have a zero stop, so for me, I like to have zero stops, especially when I'm shooting out at long range, where I'm going several revolutions around in the turret, where I'm going past, you know, 1 full turn. I like to have that zero stop just so I can dial down real quick. But if you pay attention, it's not a big deal. So as far as the glass goes, it was really clear. The adjustments were crisp, and it tracked just fine. And I thought it did everything that I could possibly want it to do as far as the scope on this gun. And overall, man, I love the gun now. And I said it in the first video in part 1 that it's actually a fun gun to shoot now. I'm impressed with it. It does everything that I could possibly want it to do. So I'll do a part 3 of this video, and part 3 is going to consist of pushing it out to at least 1,000. If it performs well at 1,000, I'll push it further until we kind of hit a breaking point for it. And then I'll do some unknown distance kind of shooting with it. And you know, and just so you know, the steel that I was shooting at in the range videos, that's like reduced C-zone size steel, so it's a 12 by 18 silhouette. So all those shots at 760 yards, I mean, this thing was fairly consistent, and when you get out at that range, it's really just, it's a wind game. And usually I'll bring kind of some windage flags out there, and I don't have a Kestrel or anything, but usually you can kind of tighten up your wind calls if you put a flag down there. But as far as consistency goes, man, the ammunition was consistent, and the gun shot really tight, and I had no problem hitting that reduced C-zone steel, even out at 760 yards, getting fairly consistent hits, you know, other than shifting winds out there. So all in all, you know, if you've had problems with your M1A, or you're wondering if it can shoot tighter or if it can shoot tight at all, if you should even bother putting glass on it, you know, if you watch that first video, those steps were really simple to tighten this thing up, and they made a huge difference. They made a whole world of difference, and it's a whole different rifle now. So for those of you wondering, yeah, it can be done, and you didn't waste your money on the M1A, even if you thought you did. So I hope this helps. And I look forward to pushing out part 3 for you guys, and just to show you how this thing can really perform at range with that 168 load that I've worked up. Hit me up if you have any questions or comments about your M1A, or some things, a load development that you want to try. I've tried a ton of different loads for this gun over the years, and specifically in the last month or so, I've tried a lot of different bullet weights, and you know, I've had really good luck tuning this thing up. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.